Hello YouTube, Reddit Math here, and welcome back to some more Bloodborne. So, in an attempt to follow the invitation that we've gotten to Himwick Crossing, we have warped back to the Himwick Charnel Lane lantern, and we're going to explore around here a little bit. Not entirely sure what it is referring to as the Himwick Crossing. Sorry, sometimes the random wailing old women crack me up. And there's a bit of stuff to poke around at in here, so this may take us a few minutes. But in the meantime... Oh, that stung a bit. It's actually interesting to note how much less damage that did to us than like the first time we rolled through here. Clearly, the additional levels is helping quite a bit there. One thing I did want to... okay. That's new. That's very new. Assuming we're on the right track then. Yeah, you sit down. Okay. I did want to mention, I think I made a comment in the last video about the invitation kind of making sense because of the location of Himwick Charnel Lane. I think I got a little bit confused as to the... Whoa! As to the Forbidden Wood... the Forbidden Wood's proximity to this location as well. Oh man, that guy hits like a truck. Yeah, okay, that's great. Just hold on a minute with all that. Cursed Tempering Blood Gemstone. The Himwick Charnel Lane is kind of actually in the opposite direction of the Forbidden Forest. This being to like the left of the Great Cathedral, whereas the Forbidden Forest is below Cathedral Ward through the whole password locked door originally. But they're both sort of foresty, so I think it got me a little bit turned around, and as maze-like as Bloodborne has been, I think that's a little understandable. Interesting of note, maybe even a little bit disappointing. Doesn't look like the time of day is really affected here by the fact that we've, like, started the apocalypse or something. The moon is still... Whoa. Okay. Alright, big fella. Calm down now. So, I guess it's a relief, but besides the one new enemy, not much else has changed so far. I was sort of expecting it to be just a cavalcade of those guys cropping up from the ground. Oh. But it looks like it was just the one. You got this shortcut unlocked. Might as well go this way. Kind of want to head back towards the boss area, as I imagine if anything is different, it's probably going to be different there. Alright, I remember this. There are dogs, there are giant executioner guys. None of this sounds good for me. Yep. Oh, that's a headbutt. Nope. Oh, whoa. Yep, that was real smart. Okay. It's alright. We lived. Doing pretty well on the blood vial front to boot. So nothing too worrying there. That didn't go very well. Oh, Ah, that was much slower than I was anticipating. Okay. I am pretty much still in full mind screw from the previous episodes. Space aliens invading Osefka's yeah, so that happened. Whoa, it pulled up like right next to me. The cutscene was a little bit unanticipated, but as I was saying, the whole space aliens invading the Osefka's clinic area was I don't even know. Oh man. So many dogs. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. We're alive. It's fine. I really don't know where to categorize the, like, little blue men that we're encountering. That's... Thematically, I don't entirely understand how it, like, fits in with everything else. I guess we don't really need to go down there. You know, crazy... dark, spooky stuff, and then, you know, just some random blue space aliens for you. Wow. I really like the horses. They're surprisingly animated. I mean, they're, like, creepy, like, I don't even think they have eyes. Ugh. But at the same time, that little, like, head shiver is pretty true to life. Now, I wonder if that camera angle of kind of through the trees and branches was supposed to give the impression that something was watching us depart. It's kind of what it left me with. I'm not sure if that was intentional or just sort of, oh, this will be a cool angle to do it from. And welcome to Forsaken Castle, Canehurst. Earned ourselves a trophy for our trouble. Ugh. And our horse friends died along the journey. Also, how did we get here exactly? Considering the bridge is out. And this does not look like a recent event. Okay. Again, Moon has not yet progressed. I feel a little bit silly, because it would seem I just missed a bunch of areas that I probably should have gone through the first time. Maybe that explains, like, the difficulty spike, why I suddenly made it to Bergenworth and just started getting my ass kicked by a bunch of enemies. You know, I don't pretend to be like an expert gamer by any means, but most of the bosses I had been taking on, like, die one time, kind of figuring out what's going on in the boss fight, and then beat them. And then I died like 7 times in one area to just like regular enemies, and more than any other boss. So it's kind of interesting to see that there's some other areas that, judging from the time of night, it would seem that we should have come to this stuff earlier, which might explain why we're having so much trouble in some later areas once we kicked off the apocalyptic moon thing. Oh, hello. You're probably not going to be our friend. Well, I couldn't lock onto it. Oh. Yeah, no, there's no way you're our friend. Okay. It came from down there. I've got some little creepy worm things, which we saw in the area of the woods. They were in the water previously. Whoa. Hey. Well, something was kind enough to give us 2,000 souls there. There's quite a few of these guys. I'm a little bit interested to see like how far their aggro range is, because I could see accidentally pulling like 3 or 4 of them in this sort of wide open area, and I certainly do not want to do that. Oh, come on now. Let's play. Oh. Ow. Okay, it's okay. Ugh. Wow. Well, they are certainly not pulling any punches from us. Yep. There we go. Warm blood gemstone. These guys are certainly a challenge to stagger, which is going to pose a bit of a problem. And even my ever so trusty strong thrusting attack there did not do nearly as much damage as I would have wanted. Let's check out the whip mode. Maybe I can just outrange them is going to become... Oh, no. The superior strategy here. Yeah, that seems to go pretty well. I can stay right about that distance, which is just outside of their shorter ranged attacks, but not far enough away to pull a leap. That seems to have gone a bit better. Some numbing mist. Oh, please don't tell me there are going to be things that heal. So that's kind of looking like an actual path to go as it leads up to a building. Let's check out this little valley over here instead. We had a couple of these guys up on the cliffs. I'm not going to be surprised if right about the time I get down here and get tied up with like one of these things, if I don't get spotted and pull one of those guys down. Yeah. Man. You would expect those little guys to be like some simple little enemy that just dies in a hit, but nope. They're like 4 strikes to make a dent in. Also, kind of hard to hit as they are super low to the ground. Yeah, you see me yet? Nope. Just doesn't even care that I'm here. Oh, they're falling from above. Okay. Strangely, the weird elevation angle kind of makes hitting them easier, because my whip is coming down at them. There's so many of them. Oh, okay. Yep. I'm gonna totally get killed by the mini-boss that is camera angles on these guys, I swear. Okay. Keeping an eye on that guy. I am ever so worried that he is going to end up at my back very much unannounced. Okay. You know, I'd almost take the snakes back over whatever these things are. They're functionally the same, but they're just like giant leeches. Ugh. Somehow the snakes made it easier to sleep at night than the idea that any kind of parasitic leech thing that big exists in the world. Really? All that for a tempering blood gemstone? That better have been like the greatest tempering blood gemstone of all time. Actually, we've gotten a few gemstones since we got down here. I believe that one, blood tinge scaling, up 10.5. Yeah, we might want to, yeah, I definitely might want to take a look at that for our pistol whenever we get back. And then, I think the other one was one of these. Okay. Maybe something we'll end up using. Man, we're already up to 27,000 soul echoes, which is nothing to sneeze at. Whoa there. Calm yourself. You're getting a little bit excitable. Ugh. Oh, come on now. Oh. No. Alright, now picking back up with the one of these guys that killed us. Had to clear out a few enemies on my way. One thing I have noticed, these guys patrol like a fairly wide, oh come on now, stretch of territory. Several of the ones that are actually up top start down below when the area resets and actually end up jumping up the cliff and patrolling off in another direction. And as you can see from how far away I've gotten already, they are not leashed to a very small area of the map by any means. Ugh. As that guy started down there. Man, lots of blood echoes. Yeah. Other interesting things to note. So, the enemies so far have been those leech enemies, and then these guys. And this enemy, don't really know what to call them yet, but they're striking me as sort of the transformed into a mosquito type creature, which I think is clearly what they're supposed to invoke. The rapid slashing tongue sort of taking the place of mosquito's proboscis. But the... Okay, if I could stand up, that would be awesome. But the limbs, especially, taking a very insect-like approach, and then they have a very large, distended stomach that seems to get filled with blood as they burst like that when they die. So, the common theme that we're seeing there, was there nothing back here? Was there like no reason for me to do this? Yep, that sounds about right. Just for fun, folks. Nothing. I feel like I'm going to attract guys leaping down on me from above. Well, that's weird that there would be nothing over here. Just a couple additional enemies to fight. Okay, well, the key theme, I guess, between leeches and mosquitoes, they're blood-sucking enemies. We are at a Castle Canehurst, so getting kind of a Dracula vampire vibe thing going on here. And I believe it was Alfred who had told us that Castle Canehurst was the source of the Vile Bloods, I want to say. So in case you haven't figured it out yet, I'm going to head back to the Hunter's Dream because I don't want to be walking around with 40,000 blood echoes. And a monumental occasion. We're going to have enough blood echoes here to finally grab 15 points of arcane. Awesome sauce. With that, we're going to grab another point of blood tinge. Why not? Also, at 15 blood vials, I guess we will buy a couple of those. Might run into some blood vial problems in the near future, but this actually brings us to a pretty good stopping point anyway. In the next episode, we'll be able to check out some of the spell items, I guess. Not really sure what you would call that category of items. But with 15 Arcane, we should finally be able to see what a few of them do. We'll head back deeper than just sort of the starting area of Castle Canehurst and investigate what there is to be seen there. I do thank you guys for joining me. If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe for more. Click the like button or leave a comment if you have anything to say about this or any of my other videos. I always appreciate the feedback, and I will catch you guys next time.